Previously on OATHSWORN.
I don't know if she's trying to contact Judet.
Then that is interesting because it means that she knowingly let a squad from this legion into a very dangerous scenario.
Waloot, I know you didn't like what I said about you being a chosen. You have to pay attention to all of the things you are.
I guess Judet started this, so Gavin, you want to set this scene up?
Yeah, I think she comes on horseback. You know, she's already... It's probably one of those, like... You know how horses could get really
Didn't
big?
she have a giant, terrifying horse?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She did.
So she's already, like, abnormally tall, like, as part of her choosing thing. And, like, she's on a horse that is her proportions.
Wait. Okay. No, I understand what you mean.
So it's not like she makes the horse look tiny. It looks like a proper horse for her.
I thought maybe you meant like humanoid proportioned horse.
No.
It's a mythopoetically tall horse.
Yeah.
Is that horse and lady a long distance away, or are they really tall? Oh my god, they're really tall.
I've shared a picture of one of the world's biggest horses.
I'm just not a fan of horses.
Hang on, I've got a better one.
Nope.
Jesus Christ.
So that second one is a plow horse.
Oh.
Which is not for riding. They are
For pulling.
They're for pulling. You can tell because of the leg muscles.
God, that first one is a thick horse.
That first one might also be a plow horse, but might like have been bred from a plow horse. May just be a breeder now. I'm not sure.
They look like some sort of barricade.
But yeah, so like that first one, like I think is the one I'm gonna go with. It's a bright orange coat. There's a man there. I don't know how tall he is, but he looks like he's 4 foot tall next to this horse.
I think that is like a 6 foot tall man at least.
Yeah. So that means like when Judet gets off, she is like the same height as this horse.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Like standing for her full height. But she does like have a big hunch that brings that down again. And I think she brings a retinue of people also on horses. She's not a horse girl. This is just showing off how much better their legion is doing.
No, she's a horse girl. She's going to gallop at us really fast.
So I think she brings her... Is she the commander of this legion? Or is there like a human commander as well?
Dorado the Adamant is the commander.
I thought she said there wasn't a boss.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Okay. Recon. Dorado the Adamant is acting in the same capacity as the commander at present.
Oh, I see.
But
it's one of those, we're a leftist commune, we don't have any leaders, and then, actually.
Look.
Okay, well, I do want to... You can't just all shout. I do want to address that actually real quick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've learned from a friend who I'm working on a game with. In anarchist militias, they still have a hierarchy for like shot caller when they're in combat. So like when they're not in combat, they do the anarchy horizontalist thing. But when you only have milliseconds to decide things, it's really important to have a hierarchy of who's going to call the shots and who everyone's going to grant authority to so that nobody dies.
Sure.
Yeah.
My point for bringing this up was
yeah.
not to be like, there would be no situations where you'd want to do that. My point for bringing this up was they made a big deal about like, there's no bosses here.
Yeah.
So I could imagine it being in this moment, if there is a single person here, that's an indication they imagine this could go in a military fashion pretty quickly. Otherwise, I think it makes sense to have a group of people.
Yeah, I think it is.
Gavin said retinue.
Yeah, retinue.
Yeah, so retinue. So like going down the list, it would be the commander. I think she brings the quartermaster for this legion as well.
Good, I have them.
Yeah.
Dark Kravannder.
You tell me, Brendan, if their lore keeper would be interested in this. I guess it is kind of a historic moment.
I don't think they have a lore keeper is the thing. I think
that's weird.
No, they just don't. They have fewer players at their table.
Right. Maybe they have a spy master instead?
Maybe.
Yeah, but you wouldn't see the spy master.
No, spy master wouldn't be there.
They sure did know about us.
The spy master is there. You just don't see the spy master. But I do have a very good quartermaster.
So yeah, I think it's Adamant, the quartermaster, and maybe one full squad with Judet, all on horses. Maybe she has a banner, or Adamant has a banner. That's what makes her command role, is that she's the banner carrier. And they pull up to the entrance of the camp, maybe pierce their way through one of the constant attacks from the Never to enter the safety of the camp.
Then I think there's probably a big table set up in the big tent where we've had a whole bunch of these meetings before.
Cool.
Kael is wearing a ceremonial robe that is a lot more colorful than the robe they usually wear, and they have a fresh flower crown, but they look incredibly tired.
None of these people have like ceremonial outfits or anything like that. They're just wearing their same field armor.
I think Kravander's dressed about as usual, but it's just very like fidgety, like two chosen in a room. Oh my god.
Yeah, probably a lot of whispers as they move through the camp.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're all seated when they come, and then we probably all stand with maybe some like hems. Everybody takes a seat. Who speaks first?
I think Serikali looks to Azar.
Of course she does.
Yeah.
Judet looks to Azar.
Oh my god.
You know why we're here.
I think that he says, thank you, Judet, the Bladesinger. Thank you. He doesn't know these people's names.
Would at least the
Dorado
would have been. Yeah, that would have come up.
He would say, he would also by name say,
there'd be
thank
introductions.
You for coming, Dorado the Adamant, right, and greet each one of them in turn. And then he would say, we seem to have come to a difficult situation, a prickly situation, but one that I think we can get out of on the other side better for it. But a day ago, we were unaware that there was another facet of the Legion, still in existence, not given to banditry. Had we known, and at this point he takes a glance at Serikali, then we would have conducted ourselves very differently recently. And I think he then is just waiting for a response from the other Legion.
I think Dorado immediately is like, who are you calling bandits?
I said that you had not given yourselves to banditry. There are unfortunately other members of the Consonant Legion who met on the plains who have not done as you have done.
Tricky.
I think Azar ignores that comment and again is waiting for a response.
Judet's voice, all Mitzrayim have a little sing-songy...
Like a lilt to their speech patterns.
Lilt. Yeah, they have a lilt because their language is tonal. But it's like operatic sounds gauche.
What if
I
it
guess.
sounds kind of like, as she, like the longer she speaks, it kind of clicks for us, like, oh, these are the lyrics to the song Serikali's been playing.
Yeah.
Is it like that sort of
it's
Catholic
like
priest
she's-
thing? Like the da 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 da
No.
da da da. Okay.
No. It's like she's speaking in verse. Like there's music playing, but she's the only one hearing it. But because she's speaking, you can hear it too.
Sure.
We are concerned. It is good of you to begin with an apology because it is deserved. We are here to inspect first the myriad of corrupted and blighted things in this camp. And second, determine if you are capable of holding on to those.
Meanwhile, Suleiman is in his camp in his tent with the bag of corruption and is like positioning a Bunsen burner under it.
Yeah, I think Judet like looks directly in that direction. Like she can smell the corruption oozing out of there.
Azar says, stone-faced through all of this, says, do you not trust Serikali to handle to those needs?
I think they both just look at you. Like both Serikali and Judet look at you.
Yeah.
Like, of course we trust each other. That's not the question here.
Sure. Azar is stone-faced. He didn't ask the question for you.
Serikali says after a pregnant pause, Commander, I'm not oathsworn to the Legion.
And yet, when you have come to us asking for help with a particular mission, or to deal with a particular object, we have agreed. There are no cases where we have not. I see no reason why we would not agree if you came to us with other concerns.
Kael speaks up. In regard to the corruption, we have fallen on some hard times recently and have had to improvise quite a great deal. This is not uncommon in the annals.
I think the quartermaster, who is like this like deeply scraggly old man with a big long tussle of gray hair spilling past his shoulders, but is like dressed in like a number of like thick furs, like way warmer than even the current winter climate would suggest. And he just growls like, was taking my cart part of the improvisation? Where's my cart?
The Chosen did mention an inventory of some kind. Why don't we? Yeah, I think Kravannder is like getting up and is being like, why don't we go and start to see to that, and maybe we can come to some kind of.
Got enough inventory to have a big tent. I don't have a big tent.
What's this guy's name?
This guy is named Erlin.
Yeah, I think when he's about to say we don't have a big tent, I think Judet says Erlin.
He just gets up, follows Kravannder out, grumbling. I think Dorado speaks up. It is like, clearly you're I think like that, like trying to figure out what to say and then clearing your throat is in character. She's like, the question of what you're willing to do is not the problem. The question is what it is that you seem to have gathered to yourself in the process.
And that would be?
We've heard, for example, there is a blade in the from Whisper here in your camp.
The blade from Whisper in our camp.
The
what is that?
dagger that we took from
Oh.
the one we don't know what it is.
That was recovered from an ancient Arcadian temple by members of our legion, yes.
It was confiscated from somebody who would use it to harm us.
I heard one of the people that collected it was consorting with one of Whisper's idols.
That idol is dead by the hand of the one who was doing the consorting. We have dealt with it. If you wish for the knife, if that is sufficient to make whatever bad blood you perceive to be between us go away, you may have it.
It is not. But we will take it. It is a start.
I'm not sure, when I have never had the pleasure to meet you, Judet, the Bladesinger, why you would have such a negative opinion of me. Not looking at Serikali pointedly.
I think she, puts a hand on the table, because she's hunched over, and not just because the tent isn't big enough for her. Tries to sit up straight a little bit. You can hear, popping a little bit. Even the, sounds her body makes, accidentally are rhythmic. The popping of the bones is to the beat of whatever song that she is singing. I have a tendency to come off angry, spiteful, whatever you have to call it.
My apologies if I've misread something. If the knife is a start, what would you require for us to work together towards our mutual goals?
I think this is when Adamant pulls out a list, an itemized list.
Oh my god.
Does Adamant read it out, or does she slide it across the table to Azar?
Is she theatrical?
No, she really isn't.
Then probably the slide.
Yeah, I think she slides it over.
Tell me about this list.
I don't know. What do we think is on it?
Well, every corrupted item, the horn, basically Suleiman.
He is a corrupted artifact at this point.
He is.
Ashling? Do they want Ashling? Do they even know about Ashling?
I bet they don't know about Ashling.
I think it's been too soon to know about Ashling.
Yeah.
They're gonna come back to the camp, and the next day Serikali's gonna explain that they found out about Ashling. They're gonna be like, shit.
Yeah, Serikali got on the phone right away. She wasn't around for that.
I can't believe that Serikali has been narking about us this whole time.
Can you not believe it? Are you sure?
She's just so much more of a kind of a shitty grandma than I imagined her being.
Sorry, Matthew.
That's fine though. No, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so they basically want all the stuff. So I don't think we need to get into this, but I think at this point there would be some kind of negotiation, probably.
Yeah, I'm more interested in us deciding what we think is interesting to be at stake, and then deciding whether or not how our legion reacts to that.
I don't think this has to end in a bad position for our legion.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It could very well be that it's just you've established some sort of a tie and there's this tension, but no one's quite sure what to do with one another at this point yet, except to say that you're both going to operate as independent entities that won't be hostile to one another.
I mean, I think non-aggression pact would be what Azar would be interested in, but I don't think that that's all that interesting. Let's maybe think broader here.
Sure.
Do we want these people as repeated adversaries?
No.
I want them to show up again.
I want them to show up again, but I don't want to fight them.
I don't always have to be fighting them.
Okay. So then we know that's off the table. There is no world in which they're going to leave here and they hate us and they want to kill us.
Right. Is this rather some sort of a strategic meeting, or at least a prelude to a strategic meeting of, if you're going to take the capital, then we're going to leave that to you in order to pursue this other goal. But we want to coordinate that rather than just trusting.
Also, let's meet up at Skydagger or something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's more interesting for them to come to the capital. For a whole bunch of reasons, I think that's more interesting. So my suggestion here would be that we figure out some costs, right? We figure out some stuff. I'm willing. I mean, we should talk about the knife. I can't make a decision on that. Azar can think he can make a decision on that, but we can talk through that. We can talk about what we would have to give up for that. But my sort of feeling here is that we should move together to the capital.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the beginning bit. They're just going to be there at the capital, and we're going to check in with the Senate.
They get some of the credit for escorting the Well of Icario.
Right. And at the capital and at the Senate, right? Maybe this is all it is, right? Maybe, okay, here we go. Here's a pitch. What if it is that we leave this at a sort of detente, like neutral position. We're going to go together with the capital, because what we've said is we couldn't go back. We did this in fiction. We went back and forth about, like, okay, if we join back up again, who's in charge? Like, oh, nobody's in charge. We do group decision making. Like, oh, no. We have a command staff. We know what we're doing. This went back and forth. And then we finally said, okay, we're going to let the Senate decide.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going to go together to the Senate, and they are going to tell us who's the real Legion, who is in charge, and what are we doing from there. I think we go ahead and give them the knife under the assumption that from here on out, they are going to, we're going to be at least telling each other where we are, so we don't run into each other again like that.
We could give them some liberty as a thing of goodwill.
No.
We need that.
We need that. We only have one of these.
That's also corrupted. That's probably also on the list.
It is also corrupted.
No.
Okay.
They're weird, like, they have a weird vibe. They're like leftist teetotalers.
Huh?
Anarchist teetotalers.
Look.
What's a
teetotaler? Like,
teetotalers.
no
People who don't
drugs,
believe
no
in
booze.
Yeah.
Well, if your drugs are made out of Cthulhu...
Also, there is a lot of like
concerning.
weird straight edge punk anarchists.
When you're
right, they're straight edge punks.
When you do drugs, you go to hell before you die.
Well, I'm sure they're fine with other drugs. It's just that this one's made out of never.
They all have like the dumb X's on their hands. They like do the like all their hands together in a fist. Like, yeah, straight edge for life.
This is a bit. We're doing a bit right now.
They all love
I'm
math
doing the
rock
thing
and
where I
only
don't know
math
it's
rock.
a bit.
They all have like full tattoo sleeves that are just like black ink.
I just found one of their posters hanging up on the wall when they left. Posting it in the chat right now. It's a fairly high res. It's a very glossy JPEG.
I can't wait for this JPEG.
Okay, it has now sent the glossy JPEG.
Gavin, can you please read this JPEG for us?
No.
All right. Good. I want you all to know that I love you very much. This game is a lot of fun.
It's great. I'm having a great time. Also, someone else can read that fucking JPEG.
No, I think that JPEG is lost to the sands of time. Is there anything else in this scene that people want to see, or are we going to move on?
I think we're good.
I don't know. I think Judet and Serikali like go walk around the camp alone.
I think that's true. I think there's a hug in there somewhere where no one else is allowed to see.
I think Kael would want to have requested a little bit of Judet's time to talk about any stories or like getting their version of the events for the
I think
annals.
that'd be better asked to Adamant because Judet's not sworn to the Legion either.
Oh, fair.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think,
I'm just making that a choice now.
Kael and Adamant go have a meeting afterwards.
It's interesting that Judet wouldn't swear to even that version of the Legion.
Yeah.
I think my impression of Judet is that she's more concerned about doing things.
She doesn't have the time to swear loyalty.
I mean, basically,
It's just words.
There's a war on.
It's not just words, Judet. It has a mechanical impact on dice rolls.
Well, okay. Well, here's the other thing: is that
Uh-huh.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
How do I explain it? No, because like Mitzrayim don't kneel. The only person they kneel to is the Lord of Song. I don't know. There's this story that Baba told me once about there was this guy who was knighted and he's Jewish, and Jews don't kneel. They don't bow or anything. So the Queen of England had to stand on a stool in order to put the medal on him or whatever, because he wouldn't kneel in front of her. And like, there are other Mitzrayim in the Legion who are able to compartmentalize the fact that they have to kneel for this 1 second to swear to the Legion. But like, Judet is like not about it. Like, whatever the ceremony is what I'm getting at. Is like, you have to kneel to the annals or something in order to get your badge or your tattoo or whatever it is. And Judet will not do that.
We've just put Matthew through a bunch, but I do like the idea that like Azar's dad is just waiting for him at his tent once he's done with all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's give
Matthew a break.
Matthew a break
Yeah,
here.
absolutely.
And we could do Kayo, Waloot. Yeah.
Yeah, let's and then have me not play Waloot for this one.
Yeah.
Also that.
No, I could play Waloot here. That's a lot less stressful than playing Azar.
But you will be playing Azar in the next scene.
Yeah.
So,
Like, if you
Sure.
want
Is there
to
someone
someone
else?
having to
Yeah.
talk so much.
Yes, if we want somebody else to speak more, please
Sure.
take this Waloot away from me.
Devin, if you're not interested, I can take it.
Yeah, I don't think I have a good grasp on Waloot. And you've played her before,
Okay.
so.
Ooh. So yeah, I think trying to think where in camp is like what, because you got to stay within camp because otherwise it's just never all the time.
She's probably in the Grinning Ravens tent.
Oh yeah, I just wanted somewhere where it's like they can talk as much by themselves as is possible. Like, I mean, I guess like I don't think Kayo's the sort of person who's gonna walk in and be like. I mean, they could ask now that that's a thing they could ask. Like, just ask people like, "Hey, can you give us a minute to talk? Thank you."
I think Aoife will wingman and invite the rookies to go like shoot cans or something.
Ashling's like, hell yeah.
But yeah, I think Kayo, sits near, not necessarily next to Waloot, because like, you know, they know each other, but it's a like, I don't know how much you want someone like immediately next to you, but pretty much just is asking like, so how have you been?
Leans back, hands behind her on the cot, stares up at the ceiling. I am fine. Like looking at Kayo from the corner of her eye.
Yeah, there's a you know, but like, oh, okay, we're doing, yep, okay, fair. And I think Kayo also, you know, had been like sitting up very like, we're having a conversation, and Kayo's just like, oh, okay, this should be less formal, and then I think Kayo just falls back on whoever's cot this is, and also kind of looking up at the ceiling is like, I just thought, I'm pretty sure I missed whatever conversation or other situation led to Lance calling you a chosen. I don't know how that got set up, but
Visibly stiffens.
well, I see how sometimes some of your old squad mates give you a bit more distance now. See how people look. I hear how people whisper.
Squad mates. I feel like I'm on a different squad every week.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what the marshal's doing, but I'm not command staff. But I wanted to ask, at least, you were all right with, I don't know, being called that generally. I figured it would be better than just the sky. Right? I think the Tailos have a saying, like, you know, when someone tries to go off alone and brood by themselves, it's like, well, you're never really alone because we're all pretty close to the sky, and that's got to be unsettling. So at least having someone else there is slightly more comforting.
It's like the worst version of the like, oh, I wonder if they're staring at the same moon as me.
It sucks. Kayo, I'm not happy about it. And I don't know. It's not even just being a chosen or not. It's, you know, Abudo Lance didn't tell me he was going to do that.
No, I don't imagine he would have. Would it have been fine if he had?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
That's fair. I don't mean that you have to. This is where Kayo realizes, like, yeah, they didn't really have much of a plan for this, like, for what to do. Like, just like, they just wanted to ask the question and, like, I don't know, just let Waloot just kind of like, Kyle's just kind of been assuming Waloot hasn't really had, like, a chance to just vent about this. Because it was like, are you okay? Like, physically, are you fit to go back into combat? Great, go. And, like, since then, it's just, you're fighting, or people are kind of acting weird around you, or...
Do you think I'm a chosen?
Buddy.
Is this pause in character?
It is, but it's Kayo, like... I think Kayo's just, like, making noises of, like, like, what the hell do I know about Chosen? Right? But then just goes, like... Yeah, I think Kayo actually might probably say that, like, I don't know how I would... I try to work with what I know, and what I know is that you're Waloot.
Oh, that's good. I think she, like, releases a bunch of tension from that. Just a... Oh.
I didn't mean to stress you out further. I just...
No, that helps. I am Waloot.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out if it would be, like, too cheesy for Kayo to be like, if anyone says otherwise, you tell me, right? Like...
No, that's good.
That's good because I do want to eventually set up that, like, rumors start that Waloot is a chosen. And like will have consequences in like the Senate or something. So like Kayo making that promise is very juicy.
Yeah, alright. It's also got big, like, older sibling, like, if anyone's mean to you, you tell me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Just like, yeah, you are. And then, like, sits up, props himself up on their arms, like, and anyone says otherwise, you send them my way. You know what? Don't. You tell me, I'll find them.
Smiles at that. I think stands up and holds a hand out. I will.
Good. Big handshake. Kayo, like, stands up and just, like, turns the handshake into, like, a hug. Was just, like, caught up in it.
The holding forearms into a hug thing.
Yes.
What else we got?
We can end on father-son talk, I guess, unless somebody else has a thing.
Does he find you just in your office?
I think he's waiting for me there. I think you're right.
Yeah.
That's his vibe, I think.
Just in the guest chair, sitting up, not slouched, just sort of amusing himself with all the things that make up Azar's office.
Mostly paper. I think that Azar was like very careful to keep his face just so and his posture just so during all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think while his dad's back is turned to him, there's a moment where he like decompresses like a balloon.
Uh-huh.
But then the camera cuts, and when it comes back around again, it's like more close up on Azar's dad's back, and Azar walks into frame with the exact same stony face, back shoulders, straight back. And he sits down at his desk. God, how would he refer to his dad? He wouldn't say dad.
Father?
He wouldn't say father. I don't think there's any paternal term he would use for him.
Are they on first name basis?
Yeah.
Lord Vahn?
I think it's Lord Vahn. I think that's right.
Or, excuse me.
Who's your grandfather? Like, who's the of blank, born of blank?
Neither of those.
Neither of these are blood relatives.
Yeah. That's not how it works.
Oh.
I mean, it could work, but it's not implicitly how it works.
Okay. Like, what's their second name?
Oh, right. So, I was going to clarify. Senator Vaughn's born
Jesus
of
Christ.
Yeah.
Oh.
is born of Renwahl. Renwahl being after the Arcadian Empire was crushed, was the Arcadian lord who first went over to the newly formed Senate, leading a contingent of Arcadians who wanted to make amends, build bridges, sort of reunite Zel-Sha'el as one
Win
people.
the peace.
Yeah.
Then how about Renwahl?
Yeah, that's
Senator Renwahl.
Yeah, Senator Renwahl.
Senator
is good.
Renwahl is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he sits down and he says, Senator Renwahl, thank you for making the time.
I wouldn't miss it. I'm glad to get a spot on your evidently very busy schedule. I could come back if it's not a good time.
No. If you leave, who's to say there will be another chance?
That's true. It's troubling times.
Very. We'll stick around another week, perhaps, and then make our way to the Senate. It's been decided.
That's good. They'll be glad to see you there.
I assume you'll stay behind.
No, actually, as a matter of fact, I'll be going sooner.
Hmm.
Thought perhaps our parties were departing at the same time, but I understand there's still much to do here. No, I'll be gathering up and continuing on to the capital.
I wonder if they have... I bet they have a secret phrase.
Uh-huh.
I think they probably have a secret phrase from when Azar was young enough that he would still respected his father, even if he didn't agree with him.
Mm-hmm.
Something about, like, the day has come or the day has not yet come. Something like that.
Yeah.
I think that Azar says, many years ago now, he sort of is looking in the middle distance now, back when Mother was still alive. You told me that a day would come, but that day had not yet come. I believe that day is coming soon.
I remember that day. I still remember the bruise. I remember how you gave me one just like it, trying to break free of my grasp. I admit when I said that, I certainly never thought that we'd be in times like these, but then even the prophets surely couldn't have seen this coming.
I wonder. So they were words to mollify a child. Whether they were those or not, that day is coming, Senator. There's a chance here. And I do not know if another will come in our lifetimes.
I think he gets up and steps a little bit closer to the desk. His arms are sort of like clasped with one another as the evening chill begins to set in. I wasn't trying to mollify you. I knew that once you decided on something, you'd chase it until either you or it was burnt up by the fire of it.
You have power of your own. You do. You could call on it. There are many young men here. Young men, young women. All able warriors. You could help me with the chase, Father.
It's for the Senate to decide, as you well know. Why else do you think I travel to the capital instead of here in the land of my ancestors? We're not alone in this, as you well know.
Just to be clear, so Matthew knows.
Mm-hmm.
Is the idea here that he's saying that he's going to go to the Senate to help set things up? Or is he specifically saying, like, no?
I think he's being deliberately cagey.
Yeah,
in that he's going to go to the Senate. He knows that he has power, but he is not going to just immediately put it at Azar's disposal.
Yeah, of course.
He is Azar's father.
Yeah. The time for games is over. The time for half measures and small words and mollification is over. It's done. One way or another, the Senate falls. The question is who will be in position to take up the pieces. Be willing to risk it for once.
I think Vahn smiles.
Mm-hmm.
A sincere, proud smile. But still a little sad, I think. and sort of tightens his grip on his own arms and says, "My boy, you can't imagine how much I'm willing to risk." And he leaves. After, I think he like knocks on the desk for good luck and then turns to go.
Azar collapses back into his chair. Kris, you were thinking about using the supply to roll for a thing. Did you want to do that now, or did you want to wait?
Yeah. Feel like I should do that now. Yeah, I'm gonna do that now. We're gonna run out of food next time, and that just scares me generally because who knows how many free actions we'll have next time. So
If we get a mission where it's like lose a use of food as a consequence,
Yeah,
that'd be pretty bad.
I don't want that. So yeah, I'm going to acquire assets.
That's a good idea. I'm gonna write that down.
Food.
Oh my god.
I'm pretty sure that's one of the already one of the stakes of the failure mission is like lose a asset.
Eek. Okay. There's the special rule here was already about the specialists and such. So
Yeah, there's no extra
Okay.
buy stuff at this place.
So it's just straight up. What is this location's asset rating?
Great question.
And does
0.
Oh. Okay.
what does it have on offer?
Everything, basically.
Pretty much everything.
Okay.
Everything bad.
Yeah, there's Arcadians here. You can get them, but a lot of them have already run away.
Okay. Duty 6. Take lower. Acquire food. Dang it. That's 1 to 3. That's poor quality.
What does that mean mechanically?
I think
That's a great question.
I think that's a use of food that's only 2 uses. That's an asset of food that's only 2 uses.
All right. I'll put a note on that.
Yep.
Hey, that means 3 more uses of food. That's not bad.
It'll hold for now.
Is this Kravannder like going to the local Arcadians and buying stuff? Is this like a trade between the legions? 'Cause I think there's some interesting flavor there.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, we already didn't like trade. Now I wish I could count it on that. It's fine.
Well, you can frame it as the trade where it's like, here, we'll give you the supplies back, but we really do need food.
Oh, that's fun.
I like that a lot. That's good. Because we really did actually
yeah, we
spend
did use the supply on it. Yeah, but
Yes.
we really do need
But-
food. Like these, like wheeling and dealing aside, there are a lot of refugees here, and in addition to our camp, we do need that food.
I like that a lot.
It also means that like for all his grumpiness, for all their grumpiness, Erlen is like, it's not a lot, but it's like what they can do.
Yeah. Devin, you were saying that Kael was going to go talk to Dorado.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, I don't think this needs to be a whole scene, but I'm just wondering what that's like. Like, is Dorado the kind of person, Brendan, who would be like, hell yeah, I'm going to talk about all the cool shit we did? Because that's kind of my vibe of her.
Yeah, she's much better one-on-one than in like a weird big meeting or something like that. And it is all about like, I think she's like, it's harder to get her to stay focused on one particular thing, but gives a lot of good details about like cool exploits that her legion has accomplished and other stories that she's heard.
She seems like the kind of person who would be like very happy to gas up people around her who are doing cool shit.
Absolutely. Yeah,
right?
exactly.
What sort of questions would Lord Keeper ask?
I think the first big one would be like, how did you get away from the omniculum.
Family Feud voice. Good question. Good question.
God, that like I was trying to imagine her like really big, like upbeat, tell it like, but immediately like that story is like just like 1,000-yard stare, extremely haunted. Like,
I wonder, do we want to go ahead and just say they did one of the other?
yes,
Like
that-
first missions?
that's 100% the vibe. Is that this is a different legion that took a different mission path,
Yeah.
and it was
Very
like
They were up in the mountains. We know that.
Yep. And it was just like most of us didn't make it. I did that stupid thing that you always hear about people doing where they hide in the reeds. I hid in the reeds with like just my nose above water. I was there for like 4 days.
Must have ruined your boots.
yeah. I didn't notice the boots were ruined until a couple of days after.
Good thing you have horses.
I'd never eaten a horse before. Wow, this is
Fuck.
depressing. Let's talk about something else. Let me tell you about the mountains.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
We did a dungeon up there.
it sucked.
Did you see any of
Those
the
big
sky?
wave
Have you ever
boss?
fought a skeleton before?
Have you ever fought 500 skeletons before?
Oh God.
Decided there should be a chosen of skeletons. The fuck?
Did you see any of the sky wardens in the mountains?
No, it's mostly just sky perverts and miners up there.
Jesus. Dorado in fiction calls them sky perverts.
I looked up the Shreya starting mission if y'all want to know.
I do.
Sure.
It's to blow up a bridge.
Oh.
To slow down the marching undead army.
Love
Did
it.
she blow up the bridge and then just stay behind and wait in the rubble below?
I think she got caught in the explosion and woke up in the rubble below, and
Jesus.
like had to like hide until it was safe to get out of there.
Damn.
Dorado's cool.
Mhm.
Was there anything else here, Devin, that you wanted to get for Kael?
No, I think they just invite her to like a bonfire later.
Oh hell yeah, she loves good bonfire.
Just the kind of usual
Yeah.
like cultural exchange kind of vibe.
Yeah, like if the other legion are allowed to like stay and socialize to that degree, I think that's interesting. Because I didn't know if
Yeah.
that was true or not.
I think that is true.
Yeah, Cool.
Yay.
Azar wants to
Um,
play nice right now.
yeah.
I think there may be like a window scene of Lance like massaging his stump.
Mm.
Mm.
Maybe the Mercies gave him a cream to put on it to keep it moisturized or whatever. And he's like applying that very carefully.
Could it be Nabane who did it?
Yeah. Nabane gave him a tonic,
Yeah.
and he's just on his own taking care of it.
Nice.
Are Aoife and Rahel dancing at this bonfire?
She's definitely trying to get that started.
Nice.
Though I think
Kayo, do you?
oh,
go. I'm
wouldn't
sorry,
this
go
be
ahead.
would this be the night after? Because
I assumed it was a second, an additional like.
okay.
Presumably, Aoife was not. If Aoife rolled a 5, then presumably she's content to continue the hunt the next day.
Yeah, I like the idea that Kael is like potentially a party, just kind of wherever they go. Like it doesn't always turn into a weird thing, but it often
They're
Nice.
does.
always ready for it to be one.
Yeah.
Maybe Rahel initiates this time and we should roll for her.
Yeah. That's
Hell
good.
does
Cute.
have good concern, doesn't she?
Good.
Um,
Gavin, hit us with a roll.
It's a 5.
Also a 5.
Nice.
All
Nice.
right.
I think that's enough for some awkward dancing.
Sick.
Yeah. Risky position, Aoife effect.
After dancing a little bit, nothing happens, but Rachel and Aoife stay up pretty late talking about music.
Yeah.
Because they first bonded over singing together in the tomb.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is this music?
This is good. This is good
If
music.
I have a legion, I'm going to let them listen to music.
Perfect. One last thing before we wrap up for the night.
Mm-hmm.
Kayo, do you go to the bonfire?
Yeah.
Obik is here.
Yep. I was gonna say if the other legion's hanging around, Kayo, right? Like, I think Kayo normally is, standing on the edge of things, sort of like arms crossed,
Yeah.
like, yes, socializing, good.
I'll
Love
guard.
that.
I'll stand guard.
Yeah, pretty much. It's very much, school dance chaperone, but like this time it's actually like walking through the crowds, actively looking for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's tall enough to wade through the crowds.
Where do you find him?
I want him to be talking to some brookies. Maybe like, I want the Emberwolves to have found him.
Nice.
Right? Like, would Obik also be looking for Kayo? Because Obik could have asked, like,
Yeah, absolutely.
Is Kayo here? Is Kayo around? And the Emberwolves were just like, oh my god, you know Kayo?
Yeah.
We love Kayo.
Yeah, and it can't
Just
shake
because,
them.
we work with the Emberwolves a bunch, so they're just like, what, Kayo? Okay, tell us shit about Kayo. Kayo never talks. Tell us stuff about Kayo. Tell us something embarrassing. Why do you know them? Like when you
Are they always so big?
Yeah, when you ask your parents' friends, like, what were my parents like as teenagers? What the hell is this weird?
Sees you. How can he miss you? Breaks away. And almost trot runs up and stops short. Doesn't know what to say.
Yeah, neither does Kayo. Oh.
Just sort of falls into a hug.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's gonna start talking, nobody knows what to say, and then it's just like a hug is right. Taylor seem like a very physical, makes contact kind of people, so it's like, no, it's a hug, talk later, hug first.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm sure they both have a lot of questions and probably don't want a lot of those answers.
Yeah.
Is there do we want to make this a little sad and have
Always.
and have Waloot from a distance, who was here wanting to talk to Kayo again?
Yes.
And Kayo pulled away by somebody else. Not meant as a romantic way, but
no,
yeah.
But it's just Waloot had this. Waloot knows that this hug is more than just all right, Taylor, let's go. It's a this is someone you know so much, and Waloot did not get that hug earlier.
Yeah, and Waloot going well, I thought you were kind of like my big
Waloot
sister.
did get a hug.
Got a hug, not that hug.
Oh,
Not a big
that.
sister
Oh,
hug.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Waloot would seek out Thar and Masha
Mm-hmm.
and I guess Gemma.
Here's okay. I just
Gemma.
keep coming up with things, but
it's fun.
Turns. Waloot turns from that to be all right, well, I'm gonna find the others, and runs head first into Judith's knees.
So.
And then Judet Waloot falls on her butt, looking up at Judet looming over her, who just leans forward, says something like, "I've been looking for you, little star."
Jesus Christ.
Oh. Oathsworn is an actual play podcast created by
Devin Nelson.
Gavin Fregeau.
Kris Allison.
Matthew Guzdial.
And me, Brendan McLeod. All music for the show is created by Devin Nelson. Find it and more at devindecibel.bandcamp.com. Find a link to their music and any of the games that we've played in the podcast description. Follow us at OathSworn Pod on Twitter or OathSworn on co-host. Until next time.